Hi. So this video is about measuring public opinion, and I'm going to talk about the the gold standard of how to measure public opinion, which is polling. And polls are widespread. They are here, there, and everywhere, especially in the internet age. In terms of measuring public opinion accurately, I'm going to share how to find polls that are good polls, polls that are done with scientific accuracy. Okay, there are any number of polls that you can choose from that you can participate in or not participate in, but there are some hallmarks for polls that are well done that you can take a look at a few numbers that I'm going to tell you about, and then have more confidence in the ability of that poll to share accurately what public opinion is looking like. So to find a poll that has been done accurately, that has utilized scientific methods, you need to take a look at a few things. You can usually find the key on the bottom right of a poll. If there's an article associated with the poll, sometimes the key is at the top left, but it's a little box, and it's going to have a few weird numbers in it and a few weird symbols in it. And so first you want to look for the population. The population is the group that is being studied. And that is very important because if you are looking for a poll on the opinions of all Americans and you come across a poll with the opinions of people in South Carolina, that's not going to be representative of the group that you want to study. So the population is the group that you are interested in learning about. And so that will be in the key itself or in the article. The sample is the small group that pollsters use to represent the entire population. And so the sample is a small portion of the people within the population, and those individuals are specially selected because they are representative of the group. And so in a sample you will find, for an accurate survey, you need about 1,000 people if you're going to look at something that's a nationwide survey. And that sounds like not very many, but if you go beyond 1,000 people, that's fine and dandy, but you're likely to get the same results. So you're just compounding your work that you're doing. As long as your sample is representative of the population, 1,000 people is a good number for a survey. Below that, things get a little bit iffy, particularly if you're looking for nationwide data. If you are looking for something within a city, for example, or a county, you don't need that many people. But 1,000 people is a good number to look for in a population, so long as the sample is correctly adjusted. And so what that means is you want to make sure that the sample doesn't have too many old people, or too many young people, or too many women, or too many men, or too many white people, or too many black people, or too many Hispanic people. You want to make sure that there is a balance for the population so that it is representative of the population. And so to learn if that sample has been selected well, you look for the sampling error. And the sampling error is a funny little set of symbols. You're going to see a plus, slash, minus, and then a number and a percentage. So you might see something that says plus minus 3%. That's a good survey. Plus minus 3% means that the sampling error is somewhere off by about 3%, by 3% in the measurements that they are promoting. So if a poll is a 60-40, so say 60 people prefer candidate A, 40% of the people prefer candidate B, then the sampling error of 3 would mean that could be anywhere between 63 and 57% of people prefer candidate A, okay, and 37 to 43% of people prefer candidate B. And so this way, the sampling error is sufficient. You know where exactly the preferences are. So you know candidate A, no matter what, no matter even if the sampling error is off by as many as 3 points, then candidate A is the preferred candidate. So always take a look at the sampling error to see that number. If it is high, then you've got a survey that is not particularly well done, and that can cause some challenges. So if you see something that says plus minus 10%, that could be either candidate A or candidate B, even though it's a 60-40 poll, because it could go all the way from down to 50-50. So a sampling error needs to be a smaller number. The smaller the better. You can't really get below about 2%. That's just the nature of the beast. But the smaller the number in the sampling error, the better. Now, there are some challenges when you come to very close polls. Let's say you've got a poll that is 52% for candidate A and 48% for candidate B. If you've got a 3% margin of error, you cannot definitively say that candidate A has won, because candidate B could have as much as 51% of the vote. And so you need to take a look at that math there. If you've got a particularly tight poll, sometimes the sampling error will be what we call within the margin of error. And if a poll is within the margin of error, you cannot make a definitive conclusion like you can if you've got like the 60-40 with the 3% sampling error. Always look for the language in the polls. Make sure that it is not too inflammatory. If a poll makes you feel angry, or alternatively, if it makes you feel super happy, like, yeah, this is great, this question makes me feel good, take a step back. Polls should be accessible, and they should not be designed to make you feel a particular strong emotion. Polls that create strong emotions in people who are taking the polls very often are focusing on a particular goal. And that's because you cannot think in a practical sense when you are angry or when you are afraid or upset. The different parts of the brain light up at different times, and this is getting into your psychology classes. But if your anger portion is lit up, or your fear portion is lit up, or your happy portion is lit up, your rational portion cannot light up. And so you cannot think practically, is this actually a good poll question? So look for that kind of shocking language or something that seems designed to tweak opinion. Particularly pay attention for something called a push poll. A push poll is one that is designed not to measure opinion, but it is designed to change public opinion via taking the poll. Very tricky.